Are you tired of feeling like you're just surviving, like you're just making it through your schedule, like giving everybody else your best while you and your family end up with just the scraps of your energy that are left over? Well, it's easy to feel like self-improvement is selfish, not possible, or you just don't have time for it. But the truth is, your growth ends up being the lid for you and your family's potential. When you raise your ceiling, you raise theirs too. Well, welcome to the Your Growth, Your Catalyst. It's a 4-part series on the Claim Your Day podcast. We're going to be exploring why excellence is actually easier than burnout, and how to build an unshakable self-trust through tiny, consistent wins. And this is actually going to benefit not just you, but your family and all those that you're in contact with. It's time to stop settling for fine or okay or just getting by. It's time to really see what's possible. You want to stop letting your days slip away and start leading your life with intention and purpose to pursue your full potential? Then you're in the right place, my friend. Welcome to the Claim Your Day podcast. I'm your host, Nick Mazey. Here, we stop just managing our demanding lives and begin to actively pursue our best lives, rooted in our values and purpose. Each week, we'll discuss practical strategies focused on becoming intentional with all that we do so we can live and lead well. Together, let's make today count. Hello, my friend, and welcome. Welcome to episode 74 of the Claim Your Day podcast. I'm glad you're here and joining in. As you know, we're in this series right now. Is Your Growth, Your Catalyst. It's all about the growth that you pursue and achieve in your life. It has far-reaching impacts, and it's going to help you to accomplish the things that you want to live that life you want to live. Live according to your values and really be the best that you can for you, yourself, your family, and the things that are most important to you. And it all comes from that growth that you go through personally. It's going to be the catalyst to allow all that stuff to happen. Like if you missed the first episode, I really encourage you to go back and check it out. It really sets that foundation of how important growth is and why it makes the most sense to do this. And it's not selfish. It's actually helping a lot of other people. When you become the best version of yourself that you can be, you can have a lot greater impact and ultimately, help more people, and have that higher level of significance by the impact you're able to have. So go back and check out that episode. You can always subscribe so you don't miss any of the future ones. We have a few more left in this series. But today, this episode right now, it's a very important one, I believe, because it's all about confidence. It's all about confidence, and sometimes it's easy to not start something, to not pursue that next step and that next level of growth and improvement. To not take on that challenge because we're not confident. Maybe we have some self-doubt. And things like that. And that's okay. It happens. But it's what you choose to do about that when you're not feeling so confident, when you have a little bit of that doubt. It's less important that happens, that you have those feelings. And it's far more important what you choose to do about it. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is what we choose to do about our confidence. So have you ever been there? Have you ever been there where you were going to start something, but you put it off because you didn't feel you didn't feel confident, and you wanted to build up some of that confidence and be a little bit more sure of yourself before you got started? And that's what's crazy is it's kind of like waiting to feel warm to start the fire, and that doesn't make any sense. We know that, but the crazy thing about confidence is confidence doesn't come before you actually do the work. So you're not going to be able to be competent in something until you start. And a lot of times it's when we put in that work that we actually become confident. So here we're going to break down this competence-confidence kind of loop, how one impacts the other and why we shouldn't wait to start moving forward. And what you're going to learn is how to stop drifting, and how to start, building this internal bank account of self-trust that you can have. And you can do this through tiny, consistent wins. And when you can trust yourself to be able to, navigate a situation, to be able to do something successfully, or at least for there to be the possibility that you can. When you begin to develop that kind of trust, it's, I can do this. It's not guaranteed it's going to work out, but you know what? I got a shot. It could happen. When you build that trust that you know that you could do it, then it's going to be easier for you to take the action, to make the progress, to move forward, and ultimately to develop that competence where then now you're certain that it's going to happen. So how are you going to go about doing that? Well, as always, we just had a few key points. And I'm going to pull one from John Maxwell. And so the first point, it's all about you have to see value in yourself to add value to yourself. So we're talking about confidence here. And as John Maxwell was saying, you got to see that value in yourself. It has a lot to do with confidence. You have to see that you can do something. It's just going to take some work to do it. You have to see that it's possible. And so if you work on seeing that value in yourself, then you're going to be able to push yourself to do the work to show that value, to give that value, to add value to other people, because you saw that it was in you somewhere. And this can be a big step for some people. I know, I get that. But look, just because you're seeing that value in yourself and you're seeing that you're capable, not that you're perfect, and you're just seeing that it's possible for you to be able to make this change, this improvement, to be able to achieve that goal. Not that it's guaranteed, not at all, but just that it's a remote possibility. If you can see that, hey, it's a remote possibility for you to grow, improve, and develop in a certain area, whatever's holding you back, maybe it's that area that you need to serve greater or lead better at your family or at work, wherever that area is, and you might be experiencing a little bit of doubt in there. I encourage you to look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that it's possible. See, you're not perfect. I'm not perfect. No one's perfect. But we all have that potential for more and greater growth. That's what you're seeing that's what you got to see when you see in yourself. It's not that it's guaranteed to happen. It's not that you're going to be able to do it and it's going to be easy, but that it's possible and that you can do it if with all the right work and effort and learning and improvement and resources and assistance and guidance and support. If you had all that, you could do it. Well, of course you can. And then now it's just time to take some action. See, your growth is worth every bit of your best effort. And when you put that effort in a little bit, it's going to help you to see more value in yourself because you're adding value to yourself. And then when you see more value in yourself, then you're going to be able to add more value to yourself and then ultimately add value to other people. And then before you know it, my friend, there is no more just drifting. See, drifting happens when you don't see that value in yourself, so you're not taking action, so you're not moving forward, so you're not achieving, really your potential. And when that happens, that's when you're drifting. But you can really cut out a lot of that drifting really fast by starting to see some value in yourself and adding value to yourself. So that loop, we're talking about seeing value and adding value, that loop, this goes right in line with what I was saying earlier, the Competence-Confidence Loop. That's all about the second point. So the first point is, work on seeing that value in yourself. That's John Maxwell's law of the mirror. The second point, how you're going to do this, it's going to be by taking action. Action cures fear, my friend. Like if there's doubt, great, take action. There's no guarantees. There's no guarantees in life. You know what? Take action. See, action cures fear. See, and I heard this description of fear a long time ago, and I love it. False evidence appearing real. F.E.A.R. False evidence appearing real. That's your fear. When you take action, you can cure those fears and those doubts because you're going to be moving forward. Another amazing thing happens when you take action. This is like taking action towards goals, taking action towards your growth. Is momentum makes it easier. It really does. Momentum makes it easier. When you take an action, it doesn't mean you're taking large leaps. It means that you're taking a tiny step. And that tiny step is going to show you, hey, you can do this. You can overcome that fear. You can make a little bit of progress. And before you know it, with a tiny step and then the next tiny, tiny step, before you know it, you've developed a tiny bit of momentum. Not a lot, just a little bit. But you only need a little bit of momentum to quell some of those fears, to relieve some of those doubts, and to show yourself that you can do it. You only need a tiny, tiny bit of momentum, a tiny bit of action, and it's going to help cure that fear, those false evidence appearing real. It's going to help knock that out and get you that momentum you need so that you can look at yourself and say, hey, you know what? I made a little bit of progress. And as soon as you say those words, you see value there. Now I know you have value. Just want to make sure that you can see the value that you have. It's going to help keep the momentum going on all these things. So that first point is working on seeing that value that you have in yourself. Not that you're perfect, but just that it's possible and you can take action, you can improve. The second point is take that action. Small steps moving forward is going to help you to make those large leaps eventually. Now, so what's one thing that you're going to work at, a tiny, tiny thing that it's so small you basically can't fail at it. And it's a tiny promise that you can make to yourself today to be able to move forward, take a little bit of action, develop a tiny bit of competency. Once you start thinking about that. So the third point is really just why is this important? Why is this important? See, when you trust yourself that you can do something, that you can improve, when you trust yourself that you can take some action, then you become unshakable because you know that you can do it. Yeah, it might be a lot of work. You might not succeed the first time. That's all fine. That's all well and good. But when you can begin to trust yourself by this momentum, by the value you see in yourself, you begin to trust yourself. You don't need those external sources of validation. That is huge. That is huge. And that's what, especially with social media and all these things these days, there's so many people and so many different avenues. People want to get this validation from other people, even people they don't know. But we got to get rid of that. We got to get rid of that by seeing value in ourselves, by taking action for our own self-improvement, developing that momentum. And then with those things together, you can have your own internal validation, knowing there's value in yourself, knowing that you're capable. And when you do this and take that action, you're going to develop enough evidence for your own growth that it's not going to matter what the naysayers say. It's not going to matter what Stranger24562 on the internet, on social media is saying about what you're doing and the action that you're taking for your own growth, your development, and your greater impact. It won't matter because you trust yourself and you have that own internal evidence, an unshakable, unwavering faith that you can pursue your best and fulfill your potential. Not that you're perfect, no, but that it's possible, that you're capable, and that all your efforts for your own growth and improvement is worth it. That's where you're going to be at, my friend. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do with this? Well, like I said a moment ago, I think that you should find one little micro promise that you can make to yourself today, one thing that you're going to do to set out for your own improvement and growth. Make it a really, really small promise and keep it. That's all it is. It's not about the huge things that you commit to do, but you develop the habit of being disciplined in the small things, and then you can carry it to the big things. So what's the one small thing that you're going to promise yourself today that you're going to do for your own improvement? Tiny, tiny thing, small thing. What's that one small thing? That's what I want you to do. That's the major takeaway from this episode is you're going to commit to doing one small thing for your own growth and your improvement, and you're going to keep that promise to do that small thing. It's going to help you to develop a little bit of competence, a little bit of faith in yourself. It's going to help you to help build that competence and confidence, developing a little bit of momentum and moving forward. Start with that small thing, my friend. Hey, if you got any value out of this episode or this series, this podcast, I'd greatly appreciate it if you leave a review. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, they all have reviews and capabilities for that. It'll make a big difference. There's millions and millions, if not a billion podcasts out there. There's probably a billion podcast episodes. And help people find this by leaving a short review or sharing it with somebody. So we're in this Your Growth, Your Catalyst series right now. After this series, a little sneak peek, we're going to be moving on to expanding your capabilities and your capacity. And that's where the real growth is going to happen. But I want to make sure we got this short series in, talking about the value of you really going after your own growth. All right? So make sure you stick around for the rest of this series and the next one. And we're going to have some good times, some good progress, and some good growth in this community, aren't we? All right. Thank you for listening. Take care. And I can't wait to talk to you again in the next episode.